The phone lines are going absolutely crazy. 03717 223344. Let's head back to them right now. Neil is a Newcastle fan, and Neil's taking the time to call us this morning. Good morning, Neil. How are you?
Good morning, Neil.
Morning, Ali. Morning, Gabby. Is all right?
We're
right,
fine, mate. Thanks for joining us. What are you thinking about this news?
Right, couple of bits. I think the young lad, the young Liverpool fan that rang up before, I think he must be one of these new generation fans. He's obviously forgotten that they sold Coutinho for 146 million to Barcelona.
Yep.
So I think, look, Isak's our player. If you want him, he's 3 years left on his contract. If you want him, pay 150 million. We'll get 120 million for him next summer, preferably not to Liverpool. So we don't need to sell him. The second thing I would say is I want rid of him. I think we do need to get shot of him. I think he'll probably be looked back on as one of our best ever bits of business selling Isak. I think he's not like Haaland, Salah, where they're sort of metronomically brilliant. With Isak, it's like flashes. He's really good for 2-3 games where he'll score you 3-4 goals, but then there's 2 or 3 games where he's a bit anonymous and looks like he doesn't fancy it.
His injury record as well, Neil. His injury record isn't great, is it?
No, Gabby, and it's not just like the games he misses through injury. I think Isak's one of these players where I think he has to be or feel 100% fit, or he's a bit anonymous. And I do think that we'll move on from it. It's just getting the right deal for the club. I hate this sort of arrogance from like Liverpool fans saying, "Oh, you'll come to Liverpool," and they'll say, "Look, this is Liverpool now. Look, he's at a really good club who really looked after him and taken him to the next level." I think he probably just needs to understand that and understand that it's up to us, not him.
Neil, just a quick one on it. You correctly, in theory, say that Newcastle don't need to sell him, and you don't. You're absolutely right. However, surely you agree it makes common sense now. How are you going to reintegrate the man back into the dressing room? Surely, I would think, and I might be wrong, but I would think the players have certainly lost a little bit of respect for the way he's going about it. Listen, we've been about dressing rooms for an eternity, and you got to handle yourself right. Players know that other players want to move and potentially go to, whether it could be called a bigger club or a club that's got a better chance of winning this, that or the next thing. These things happen, but we think there's a certain way of doing it, and we just feel that he's completely alienated himself, A, from the Newcastle support, which is massive, and B, just as importantly, probably Eddie Howe in the dressing room.
I think you both know better than us. I think the players will reintegrate him. I think he's their friends. I think they'll probably see beyond that, and it'll be a lot easier for them. As a fan, I think I'll find it so hard. I'm a season ticket holder. I'll find it so hard to get behind him. I just think, let's move on. We've sold big players before. The PSR thing's slightly different. So I think we had around about 180 million to spend this summer anyway, which we haven't touched yet. Plus we sold Longstaff for, was it 12 million? So we can kind of amortise that. I think the PSR, we don't need to sell him this summer. To replace him, we'll probably need to sell him, but we could do that next summer. Yeah. If we bring in a couple of cheap, sort of accept that we're going to take the hit. Eventually, he's not just going to sit in the reserves. He will want to reintegrate, won't he, at some point? But I don't know. I think I'm torn between, yes, I'm desperate to get rid of him because I think the way he's behaved is deplorable. However, I just wouldn't be held to ransom. I think it's weak if we just fall down and say, right, I will sell him for 111 million or whatever it is.
Do you know what, Neil, as well? As much as he says, I adamantly do not want to play for Newcastle again. Transfer window closes, World Cup year, he will change his tune and he will be like, all right, then let me try and get to January and play football. Players are selfish. He'll want to play for himself.
Well, of course, and it's making the right noise as well. The window's open, so if he desperately wants to support the move, he's going to be saying that now. The window's shut, of course. He ain't going to want to go to Grimsby away with the under-23s. He's going to want to play.
Neil, great call, mate. Thanks very much.
Neil.
Head on. Thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. Now, final one on this. We had a text in from a Newcastle fan which says, if we've got Agbonlahor on our side, you know it's bad.
For God's sake.
Amazing stuff this morning. And Isak reportedly adamant they will not play for Newcastle again. We're going to move on. Focus on Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who has been linked with Newcastle. Could he be the replacement? Well, he has sacked his agent. So what next for the player? Gabby? I'm saying no.
So the problem I have with Calvert-Lewin, Ali, is Calvert-Lewin's only 28. I always look at players when the season's about to start and you've been let go by a club and you haven't been signed. Last season, Ali, 26 appearances, Calvert-Lewin, 3 goals in the Premier League. Season before, 32 appearances, 7 goals in the league. Season before, 2022-2023, 17 appearances, 2 goals. You've got to go back to 2020-2021 season where he got 16 goals. His goal record is not great. And also last season, he missed 15 games, 100 days with a hamstring injury.
That's my point. That's why I'm saying.
So the injury, he's not giving you the goals when he's fit, and then his injury record's that poor. Everton physios were probably like, please, David Moyes, Gaffer, please do not re-sign him. We need the space for all the players. Very injury prone. And Callum Wilson, he'll be on a smaller basic wage and a big appearance fee at West Ham, I could imagine. That's what Calvert-Lewin's going to have to get.
Agreed.
I wouldn't touch him with a barge pole if I was Newcastle.
I know.
Let Callum Wilson
and it's a shame because he's definitely talented. Of that, there is no doubt. But I keep saying it, mate, and the irony of me talking about work. See, when you're signing players, Walter always used to say to me, you got to look how often they turn up for their work. How often do they play? How often do they miss training? How often do they miss games? That's a massive part of it, mate. It's one of the first things you look at.
Ali, I was in Croatia doing the coaching camp for Campione Academy, and the Spurs sporting director, Johan Lange, used to be at Villa, was there, and his lad was playing.
Lovely.
And one of the parents got injured, and I was like, you wouldn't sign him now, would you? And he was laughing, saying, no way, injury record. So like, it was a joke, and we're laughing about it, but it's true. When you got an injury record like him, Callum Wilson as well, Newcastle aren't going to let Callum Wilson go and bring in someone else who's injured even more than Callum Wilson. So I feel for Calvert-Lewin. He's going to have to maybe look at options that he might have thought he was better than, and go and prove himself he can be fit for a season.
Another player I want to talk to you about, Ben Chilwell. What's going on there?
Well, last season, 8 games, 8 appearances for Crystal Palace. It was always going to be tough with Mitchell.
Of course.
He's number one. You're never going to get him out the side. But again, Ali, it's another one. We talk about Sancho, we talk about Rashford, we talk about Sterling, only 30, we talk about Calvert-Lewin, 28. Chilwell's 28 years of age. Chelsea paid 45 million for him 5 years ago. I'm going to put this on you now. Have a guess how many games Chilwell has played for Chelsea in 5 years. Think about all the games there is. Probably 50, 55 games a season, isn't there?
It's quite. I mean, he's not. I know he's been injured, but he's got to play at least. It must be over 100.
107.
Aye.
But if you look at the amount of games that Chelsea will play in a season, you're talking 50, 55. So you talk about that, 200, 260, 270 games over that time.
So effectively, he's played maybe
less than half.
He's played maybe 40% of the games.
So another one. A club's going to look at him and it's like...
Luke Shaw's another one.
Yeah.
I mean, Luke Shaw, I think, is a terrific player. Terrific player. But just injury keeps him out of games.
So imagine your Rangers boss now and like, Chilwell, listen, we love Chilwell, outstanding player, played for Chelsea, played for his country, but you'd be like, 28, the injury's going to get worse the older you get as well. I'm not sure. I'd rather go for a youngster who's maybe a bit more hungry.
Mate, I'm not.
Less injuries.
I don't think I'm signing anybody, who misses.
Yes, you can't.
50% of his team games, unless it's a player that's not getting a game for reasons that there's a better player in his position or whatever it is. But somebody that's injured, unfortunately,
it's not their fault.
And I know it's not their fault, but you need players that can play.
Exactly, and I feel that if for instance, Crystal Palace last season, like he didn't really play much for them. Clubs will look at his loan spell last season and be like, well, he didn't play at Crystal Palace. The money that he'll be on at Chelsea will be very good money. So they're not going to want to pay big fee for him. A loan deal is going to be a lot of the wages. I see a chance that he stays at Chelsea because he doesn't get the move he wants.
Every chance, mate. Okay, what have we got? 9:45. We're heading into the last break. Just a reminder, Liverpool versus Newcastle is live on talkSPORT on the 25th of August. This is going to be absolutely box office for the news breaking today. Do Newcastle sell him before then? Surely not. Or do they sell him and he's not allowed to play? I don't even know what's happening next.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.